Hey everyone, we're about to jump into a really critical question. Are you really managing your biggest accounts for maximum growth? Now that's a bit of a trick question because, not all big accounts are the same. Let's get into it.
Just pause and think about that for a moment. Is that relationship all about hitting this quarter's numbers? Or is it something more, a real partnership, built to last? How you answer that one question, well, it changes absolutely everything. Because here's the thing, and this is so important. A key account and a distributor, yeah, they can both be huge for your revenue, but trying to manage them with the same playbook, that's a massive, and I mean very costly mistake. They're just two fundamentally different animals. Look, this confusion happens all the time, but honestly, it's dangerous. When we don't bother to differentiate, we just fall back into our old transactional habits. We're just focused on closing the next deal. And that approach, it quietly eats away at your long-term value. And worse, it opens you up to some pretty serious risks. So let's actually look at what's at stake here when you just treat these accounts as business as usual. When you use a one-size-fits-all approach, you're creating these 4 hidden risks that can seriously hamstring your company's growth.
Okay, first up, channel conflict. It's a classic. If you're selling direct and through distributors, they start to get, nervous. They're going to hold back on sharing critical sales data because they're scared you're just going to use it to cut them out of the loop. And without that data, good luck trying to forecast anything accurately. You're flying blind.
Next on the list is margin erosion. You see, when the relationship is just about the transaction, the conversation always comes down to price. Their customers want a lower price, so they push you for a lower price, and before you know it, you're in a race to the bottom. And if they happen to carry a cheaper competitor, poof, you start to disappear.
Then you've got the problem of fragile relationships. So many companies do this. They're what we call single-threaded. Their entire relationship hinges on one person, usually some buyer in purchasing. And this is, to quote the source material, super risky. Because what happens if that one person leaves? Exactly. Your entire relationship, all that history, all that momentum, it can literally vanish overnight.
And finally, there's strategic drift. Think about it. A distributor carrying dozens of brands doesn't have the same priorities as you. They're going to push whatever's newest, whatever's hottest, or, frankly, whatever's easiest to sell that month. And your strategic goals, they just get lost in the noise of their catalog. You completely lose control of your message. All right, so how in the world do we fix this mess? It really all comes down to one thing. A fundamental shift in your mindset. We've got to stop seeing these relationships as just a series of sales and start building them into true strategic partnerships.
Now, what's so powerful about this is how simple it makes the structural difference. Key account management, or KAM, that's your direct line to the end customer. Distribution management, that's indirect. You're basically managing the manager of that final relationship. But, and this is key, the goal for both is exactly the same: partnership.
And this just lays it out so perfectly. The old transactional way of thinking is all short-term. It's about this quarter's numbers, and the conversation is always about price. The strategic mindset, on the other hand, is playing the long game. We're talking 3 to 5 years out. The conversation totally shifts to value, and the goal isn't just to close the deal, it's to actually co-create success together.
I absolutely love this quote. It just reframes the whole thing. These aren't just channels or customers. They are complex commercial ecosystems. And it's your job to nurture that ecosystem, to make sure everyone in it, including you, can actually thrive.
Okay, so we've got the mindset shift down. Now we get to the really fun part, the actual playbook. Let's talk about the specific, actionable tools you can start using right now to build strong, durable growth with these accounts.
First, we got to talk about relationship architecture. The Diablo model, like the toy, is that high-risk single point of contact we talked about. It's fragile and super transactional. Where we want to be is the diamond model. This is a resilient, multi-level network that connects your team to their team across different functions. Your sales talks to their sales, your marketing to their marketing. You get the idea. That's how you build a partnership that's deeply embedded and truly strategic.
So to get the conversation away from price, you have to lead with insight. And this 3-step engine is your guide. First, use a tool like Pestle to map the market and understand the big picture forces at play. Then, you analyze the players with a triple SWOT. That's right, you analyze your own strengths, your customers, and your competitors to find that unique edge. Finally, you frame your value in dollars and cents, showing them exactly how your solution impacts their bottom line.
Now, to build that strong diamond relationship, you need a map. The ROP tool is perfect for this.
It helps you systematically map out every single stakeholder. For each person, you figure out their role, their orientation, are they an ally or not, your proximity to them, and their level of influence. This turns relationship building from just guesswork into a disciplined, actionable plan.
Of course, a brilliant strategy means nothing if you don't execute. So don't just show up and present a plan. Co-create a joint business plan with them. Then you have to establish a steady rhythm, a cadence of quarterly reviews and monthly check-ins to keep the momentum going. You just have to stay present. You've heard the saying, the more they see you, the more they buy from you. It's true.
So, after all this work, what's the actual payoff? Well, adopting this strategic model isn't just a one-time win. The benefits are huge, and what's better, they actually compound over time.
Your whole organization gets 3 massive wins. First, you get predictable growth, because trust builds transparency, which means better forecasting and way fewer surprises. Second, you get stronger differentiation. You stop being a replaceable supplier, and you become an essential partner. And third, you get long-term resilience. You build these durable relationships that spot new opportunities way before your competition even knows they exist.
So if you're going to remember anything, remember this. It all boils down to these 3 pillars. Number 1, create value that's led by real insight. Number 2, build resilient, multi-threaded relationships. And number 3, execute with a disciplined, consistent rhythm. If you can get those 3 things right, you will build lasting, durable growth.
And that really brings us to the final question. As you look at your own business, at your key accounts and distributors, you have to ask yourself, are you just managing a series of transactions? Or are you actively building a thriving commercial ecosystem that's designed for everyone to win? The future of your business really might depend on that answer.